Hey there, it's Susanna, and today I have to eat a little bit of humble pie because a few months ago I sat down and I recorded an episode for you called Why I'm Done Selling Memberships. And I meant every word of it at the time. I talked about how memberships create this low level anxiety for buyers, how people hesitate even at $47 a month because it feels like one more commitment they might not keep. How I was going to pivot to low ticket offers and let the Blissful Biz Hive quietly move to the back of my business. And then now I changed my mind completely. So you might have seen that I launched an update of the Blissful Biz Hive membership in the last week. And I changed my mind about it, not because I was wrong about the psychology of why memberships are a hard sell or a harder sell. I still think that's true, but I realized I had mixed up two different things. The problem with how memberships are usually sold and the value of the membership model itself. And those are not the same thing at all. So today I want to tell you the full story, why I walked away from the hive in a way, what brought me back, and what I built that's completely different from anything I've done before, and why I think the honey flow method might just be the most useful thing I've ever put together for yoga teachers who want to build an online business. So let's get into it. After I published that episode, I don't know, in January or February, I kept coming back to the same uncomfortable feeling. Not regret, really, but something a bit like it. Because when I looked back honestly at the history of the Blissful Biz Hive, I could see that it had gone through real phases. The first version years ago, I think I started it in 2018, and I grew it to over 100 members, and it was wonderful. Then I closed it because I launched the Blissful Biz Academy. There was too much, of the same content, of the same trainings. And it was the right decision probably back then just to focus on one main offer that helped me grow to six figures. Then I brought it back in 2023. I launched the Blissful Biz Hive again. It was very, like slow. I think I got around 20 members. I closed it again. And then I brought it back again at the end of 2025 and launched it at the back end of the launch of the Blissful Biz Academy as a downsell. So also, I feel I didn't really give it a chance. And I had a curriculum, but it was more courses that I already had, and they made sense in a way how it was structured, but it also felt like it wasn't 100% really truly aligned and connected. I mean, it was solid content, but without a truly unified thread running through it. And then I had set up monthly deep dive trainings as a regular feature, which sounds great in theory. And I created some really great trainings. But also, I started to feel the weight of always having to decide what to create next. What does the membership need this month? What haven't I covered yet? What do my students need? And it became this really heavy obligation that quietly wore me down. So I reached a genuine crossroads. Do I close the Blissful Biz Hive, or do I take everything I'd learned from running it, strip it back, and build something that finally had the backbone it always deserved? And the more I sat with that question, the more I realized the old Blissful Biz Hive had taught me exactly what a membership for yoga teachers actually needs. I just hadn't built it yet. I had sent a few downsell emails at the end of that launch, but like that was basically it. I hadn't really launched it in a way. I hadn't really announced it existed in a bigger way. I had never done the work of showing people why it mattered. So I asked myself, what if I built the version I always wanted it to be, and then actually told people about it. And then two things happened at roughly the same time that pushed me fully over the edge. The first was that I joined a premium program about funnels and low ticket offers and how to scale your business. And it's a great program. Look, right there is real information in it. But I sat through that content about manufactured urgency and complicated tripwires and fake countdown timers. And I just felt so tired of it all. So genuinely exhausted by the whole approach. And I remember thinking, I don't want this in my business in this way. I don't want to trick anyone. I don't want my business to feel like a machine that's constantly trying to extract money from people through psychological pressure. I want honest offers, transparent pricing, fairness, simple commitments that people can end whenever they want, which feels so much better in today's economy. I mean, who wants to commit to like 12 months for something in these days? So I wanted having like, so I wanted it to be more simple. And the more I thought about what that looked like, the more the membership model kept coming back to me. Because a membership done right is actually one of the most straightforward and fair arrangements you can have with your audience. You join, you get access to everything, you can cancel anytime yourself. There's no contract, no pressure, no manufactured scarcity. It's just, here's what I've built, here's what it costs, stay as long as it serves you. So that already put a lot in motion. And then the second thing happened. That was the weekend I spent visiting my sister in Madrid. She was working. I only had my phone with me. I didn't plan to do any work, but it was raining so hard outside that we couldn't really leave the apartment or didn't want to. And I found myself just sitting with this question. What would it actually look like to build a membership I genuinely believed in? So I opened ChatGPT on my phone, started brainstorming a little bit, and I want to say something about this because I think it's important. I use AI as a thinking partner sometimes, not just as a ghostwriter. So I'm throwing ideas around, seeing what sparks something, following the thread of what makes me feel excited versus what makes me feel flat. And at some point in that conversation, the phrase honey flow came up and just about everything clicked, you know? You know that feeling when a name is exactly right, when it carries the meaning you want without having to explain it? A honey flow in beekeeping is when conditions are perfect, when nectar is abundant, when the hive is producing at full capacity. It's not forced. It's not manufactured. It flows because everything is aligned. And that's precisely what I want to teach yoga teachers to build a business that flows, that produces consistently, that doesn't feel like you're always pushing uphill. I sat on my sister's couch in the rain and basically built the entire curriculum outline on my phone that afternoon. By the time she finished working, I had something I was genuinely excited about for the first time in a while. Okay, so let me explain it to you because this is the heart of the Blissful Biz Hive. The Honey Flow method is the curriculum that I teach inside the Blissful Biz Hive. And what makes it different from what I've built before is that it's completely sequential. It's paint by numbers in the best possible sense. Every step connects to the next one. So you always know what you're building, why you're building it, what comes after. There's no guessing. There's no fluff at all. There's no empty information or just strategy. It's really education to help you implement. So it's 4 steps. And step number 1 is your honey flow offer. Before anything else, you need something to sell. And I walk you through creating a small digital offer. It could be a workshop. It could be a mini course. It could be a membership based on your yoga expertise. So we use an AI-powered framework to find your topic, shape the transformation you're promising, write your sales page, and get it live. even if this is the very first thing you've ever created online. A lot of yoga teachers I work with get stuck right here because they're trying to think of something perfect, something completely unique, something nobody has ever done before. And what I found is that the yoga teachers who actually make money online are not the ones with the most original ideas. They're the ones who get something live. Let real people tell them what works and iterate from there. So this first step is about getting something real into the world, and you can get it done in a week. You can also take longer if you like are super busy and you don't have as much time. But in theory, you definitely can put it out there in 7 days. Step two is your audience growth funnel. So once you have an offer, you need a way to consistently bring people to it. So this step is about building your freebie and your funnel. So you have a landing page, you have a lead magnet or freebie, you have a tripwire offer, which is your honey fly offer. And then you have an email sequence, I call it the pollination path, that takes someone from I just found you to, okay, I'm going to purchase your honey flow offer. I give you my exact template done for your copy because I know that staring at a blank email sequence is one of the most effective ways to lose like weeks of your life. So this is the step that creates compound growth. Once this is set up, your email list grows while you sleep. Your freebie does the first part of the relationship building for you. So you're not starting from zero every time you want to make a sale. And step three is your content engine. So this is the thing about content. If you're creating it without a strategy, it's exhausting and it rarely converts. You can't just sit there waiting for inspiration. And you can't just post something, it gets 47 likes, and you have no idea whether it's actually helping your business. The content engine step is about building a system that has a purpose behind every post. So you come out of this step with a 30-day content plan, a weekly editing process of how to create your content. And what I want you to do is, for example, create one piece of long form content and then repurpose that and add more. So you have like 3 social media posts for the week, and you know that those 3 posts are going to help you grow your business because they're promoting your freebie, they're promoting your honey flow offer, they're addressing limiting beliefs or myths or sharing the results. And then you can share your like insights and inspirations and things that you feel called to share on top of that. But those 3 posts, that's the foundation. That's what you put out there. That's what you know is working. That's what you can repurpose. So you just like use the same ideas again and again. This is just the tool to grow your business. And that makes social media so much easier. And, so you're not just sitting there waiting to be inspired. Oh my God, what should I post today? And I also give you not just the AI prompts, but I teach you how to use AI as an assistant so it sounds like you when it helps you write your content and not just one of those 4,000 yoga teachers on Instagram. So it uses your voice, your perspective, your stories, and every piece of content is connected to your freebie, to your offers, and leads somewhere. That's what makes the difference between content that builds an audience and content that just keeps you busy. Step 4 after that, so that now you have really everything in place, right? So it's running your engine. Step 4 is your sales momentum. This is where most people fall down, including me sometimes, right? So you build all of this, you launch, you make some sales, and then you go quiet. You don't have a plan for what comes next. You scramble to invent urgency that doesn't feel real or do another launch. And it's like starting from scratch every month. So sales momentum or buzz campaigns is about building your promotional calendar in advance. So your buzz campaigns, your flash sales, your seasonal offers. So you always have a way to bring in extra income without starting from scratch every single time. And you don't need to do a big, big launch. It's just a few emails and social media posts that I put out there. It's something that you plan for and not something you panic about. And honestly, it's the most underrated step because the yoga teachers who are making consistent money online are not doing anything dramatically different from the ones who aren't. They're just more consistent about showing up with an offer on a regular basis, and that's it. And this step gives you a system for doing exactly that. Plus, and this is something I'm proud of, inside the Blissful Biz Hive, there are templates for absolutely everything. Email sequences, a website template for Show It, the sales page template, landing pages, social media posts, templates for System IO if you're using that, plus tech tutorials, because you can start there on the free plan to sell your offer. So you can set up a sales page and the checkout page there with just one click and then customize it. The emails, right? The email templates written for yoga teachers, the social media calendar written for yoga teachers, all is done for you, ready to customize, ready to make it your own. Because I know that the distance between knowing what to do and actually doing it is often just having a starting point. So that was my vision. This is what I'm creating right now. And after that weekend in Madrid, I came home, I built it, I launched it with a masterclass. And I just sent, I didn't just send a few quiet emails. So I launched the Blissful Biz Hive. But first, I had to fix something I had quietly broken earlier this year. And I want to share this because if you are struggling with the tech setup or what platforms, you might recognize this trap. So I'm using Skool for all my courses and programs. I host all my courses and programs on Skool. I love it. I've been there, I think, nearly 3 years now. But I set up the Blissful Biz Hive there. And then I had the Blissful Biz community to host like my standalone courses and programs. Then at some point, I had this idea to make the Hive freemium. So this is a new feature that Skool offered. So I have a free plan to bring people in. People can join the community for free, and then a paid upgrade to access the membership content. And I also decided to host all my standalone courses and programs inside the same Skool community then, just to make it simpler, have just one community. And it felt clever at the time. One place for everything, natural upgrade path built right in. But what actually happened was that people would join the free tier and then never see the upgrade option. The path to becoming a paying member was kind of buried. There was too much friction. Like from my sales page, I linked to Skool, and then people joined the free group, and that was it. So it was a bit complicated, and conversions were quiet in a way that had nothing to do with the offer itself and everything to do with the setup. So even though I was scared that my students would think I'm crazy, I'm asking them to switch communities again, I decided to untangle it. So I went back to 2 separate Skool groups. The Blissful Biz community, which is where all my standalone courses and programs live. And if you've bought something from me in the past, like Low Ticket Mojo, or the Instagram Sales Kit, or Blissful Biz Academy, this is where you'll find it. And then we have the Blissful Biz Hive, which is the membership only. So if you want access to the honey flow method, the Hive is the only place you'll find it. So that's really clean, and there's no confusion about where to go or what you're getting. So I tell you this not because it's a dramatic story, but because I think it's a really useful reminder that sometimes your offer isn't the problem at all. Sometimes it's just the door that's hard to find. So once I had that sorted, I hosted the masterclass, 280 people signed up, and I got 22 new members who joined in that first launch, and we are now 42 people inside the Blissful Biz Hive. And that feels really good, and I'm going to grow it now. So I see this really now not as a back-end offer anymore, but as a front-end offer, as my main offer. And I might even move premium tier, what I have now inside the Blissful Biz Academy, inside the Blissful Biz Hive. So to scale your honey flow method, I offer members inside the Blissful Biz Hive to book one-on-one calls with me for an extra fee. So everything is basically in there. And yes, so I still have low ticket offers and standalone courses, and I'm still selling them, and they still live in the Blissful Biz community. And what I really love about the Blissful Biz Hive and what I've created is that with the honey flow now, there's a sequence. It's not just some random trainings inside a membership. There's a sequence that you follow. So you build your offer, your funnel, your content system, your sales momentum in that order, one step connecting to the next. It's not a library you browse when you feel like it. It's a curriculum you work through. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end result. So you get, like you're living with a real functioning online business that brings in money. And it's up to you how long that takes. You can get it done in 4 weeks. You can take 2 months. You can leave the Blissful Biz Hive when you think, okay, that's all, like that I need out of it. And that's fine. That's what I want for you, that flexibility and that, like self-governance. You can also stay because they're going to be new bus campaigns be added. We have the weekly calls. There's the community. You can always ask questions and get supports. And then, yes, the next step will be to scale your honey flow so you can grow to $5,000 to $10,000 months. And I think especially the community is going to be so valuable. Like one of the trainings I'm going to add is how to do collaborations together, how to do like a free training that you host for somebody else's audience to grow your audience and to give value to their audience, how to collaborate this way, right? So, and then I can really see this community growing in this beautiful thing of yoga teachers from all over the world. And it's such an amazing place to be, I think. So it took me like a while to get there. There was so much back and forth in the last months. And there's something a little bit uncomfortable because about coming back and saying, actually, I changed my mind. I was working something out and I landed somewhere different than I expected. But I also think that's one of the most useful things I can model for you because building an online business is exactly like this. You're going to try things that don't work exactly the way you planned. You're going to make public statements you later revise. You're going to experiment. You're going to change your mind based on new information and new experience. And that's just how this works. This is not failure. Like this is growing. The Blissful Biz Hive is open now. So if you want to learn more about it, you can check out my website and I'll link to it. I'll also add the link to the show notes. It's hosted on Skool, skool.com, and then /Blissful Biz Hive in one word. The honey flow method is the curriculum inside. If you're a yoga teacher who wants to build real online income without the overwhelm and the fake urgency and the endless complicated funnels, come and build your honey flow with us. You get like weekly Q&A calls. You get all your questions answered. You get a great community. There's no fluff. The template is so step by step. There's really nothing out there. And I would love to see you inside. The link is in the show notes. Yeah, and that's basically everything I wanted to say to you today. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, this little behind the scenes about what's been going on here with the Blissful Biz Hive, with my membership launch. I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions, you can DM me on Instagram or send me an email. Get in touch. And I see you next week. So talk to you soon. Bye.